So this is our first episode of Corona Can't Beat Us, where we talk to our sequestered, quarantined student athletes about how they are coping with our current situation, for lack of a better term. With us today, Emily Moore, SAC president, softball player. Not exactly how you expected to be living your life on, what is this, April 7th of 2020, is it?
No, not at all. But
What's been the biggest sense of loss? Is it the season? Is it the time with your teammates? What has been the biggest struggle for you?
it's definitely been just not being able to be around my teammates. When we found out our season was going to be canceled, like we were finally just getting into the groove. Like everybody was really gelling with each other, and really because we were about to start OVC, so it was definitely. I mean, the season was a big part of it, but just every day, like spending time with my teammates. Like here, I'm at home. I'm enjoying time with my family, but like it's just so different because I've spent the past 3.5 years every day with my teammates in school and practice. So it's just definitely weird.
And this is the time of year that you guys all work so hard for, is your season and the opportunity to go chase an OVC title with your teammates and your coaches and everybody that you care about. And to have that taken away for the spring, what's that sense of loss been like for you and your teammates?
It's definitely been hard. Like I said, when we first found out the news, it was so shocking because we were just like really getting into the swing of things, and really feeling like the OVC championship was like within our grasp, especially being like a senior and working hard for the past 4 years. This year was really the year where we felt like we really could win the OVC championship, and like I said, like we were about to start OVC play, like it was just so close to us. So it's definitely hard, but we just got to take it one day at a time, and we still have our teammates, so we've been connected through Zoom and stuff, so there's still that sense of community. It's just the season isn't there anymore, but I mean, at the end of the day, the games don't matter as much as the bonds and the people and the relationships. So I just gotta put it into perspective and just be thankful that I got to experience all that I did.
Your your I wonder what's happening in my house right now.
The
You,
dog's excited.
very well, they're like that for everything. What were the early emotions for you guys when you first learned? Was it shock? Was it anger? And what are the emotions like now?
So when we found out, we had just finished a whole day of practice and weights, and then we went into the locker room for a team meeting. And so we hadn't really been connected to social media at all, so we didn't know like other championships had already been canceled. So like really it was shock at first. Like we had no clue it was coming. Like we knew coronavirus was like becoming a big thing, but we didn't realize it would grow to like what it's been and what it became. So we were shocked, and literally everyone in the locker room had tears streaming down their face, even people who I'd never seen cry before. So it just really hit us all at once. And like it's like anything that comes out of nowhere, like you don't really know how to deal with it at first. But we were there for each other, and then once Coach K and Sarah kind of put it all out there on the table, like um, we had a big group hug. Girls were patting each other on the backs. Like it was still like sad and shocking, but like you could really see the sense of family and love that we had for each other. Um, and then later that night, we actually had a team dinner that we went along with as planned, and it was really fun. Like there was still like that weird feeling, like we were still shocked and didn't really know what was happening, but we kind of all gathered around the table towards the end and like started talking about things that had happened that season and just laughing and being there with each other. And so that was really cool. And so now our feelings, It's definitely weird since we're in like a waiting period, like trying to figure out are seniors going to take the 5th year, or like is this like it kind of it for Team 35, kind of that. But so we're in a waiting period. We've been staying connected through Zoom, and we're doing a few different team bonding activities. So we're trying to stay connected and keep together, but really we all just kind of miss each other. Like I said, we miss the day-to-day interactions. We're doing our best to stay connected and doing our schoolwork, our own workouts, but we're just kind of in a weird spot. But still, I think the community and like the family aspect of our team is still there. It's just weird that we don't have like the face-to-face interaction.
Tell me a little bit about your team activities over Zoom, because I feel like that's something that a lot of people could learn from,
Mm.
maybe get some ideas from you.
Yeah, so our coaches have done a really awesome job of kind of like starting, just like kind of creating a foundation and a base for what we've been doing. So we've been doing study hall twice a week. And so we're split into 2 different groups. So there's about 10 girls through Zoom. We just all get on there, kind of say hi, see how our days are going, and then we all put ourselves on mute and do our schoolwork for an hour. Super fun, kind of awkward and weird, but it's a good way to keep us accountable and just to, like I said, keep the connection and see each other. And then we have another meeting every week. So we meet 3 times a week, but this is a full team meeting, and we kind of do different bonding activities. So we're starting this family project, which is really cool. So we've partnered up, our coaches partnered us off. And so I'm with Lexi. And so Lexi and I kind of wrote down stuff about our family, like where we grew up, our favorite family activities, like just trying to get to know each other's families. And then we FaceTimed about it. So we really like shared each other's like lives or whatever. And then we're going to make a presentation on it. So I'm going to make like a PowerPoint or a video all about Lexi's life and her family. And then Lexi's going to do the same for me. And so then each week we are going to have, during our team meetings, about I think 2 girls are going to share during every meeting. So it's really like a cool way to stay connected and learn a different part of your teammates that maybe you wouldn't learn like when you're at school. Because since we're all at home, like with our families, it's just an easier way to get immersed into that and really find out like what makes us who we are. And so we're doing that, which is really fun. And then we do a few different things, like we're split into different teams. In our academic team, they've created a bunch of brain games for us. So they send those out once a week. And the first one was Disney themed. It was a crossword. This week was Major League Baseball themed. So it's just different ways to keep us thinking and not just watching Netflix all the time. And then our branding team, they've created different like team bonding activities for us to do, like in different groups. So the first week, all the seniors FaceTimed each other, all the juniors FaceTimed each other, sophomores and freshmen. And so within those groups, we talked about what was our favorite family tradition that we've done, or that we do in our lives. And then during our team meeting, we talked about that question and just kind of shared and got to know each other better. And so this week we did our position groups, all FaceTimed each other. And so next week will be something different. But we've really just trying to be creative of different ways to stay connected and learn different things about each other. So it's been really fun because I feel like we can grow closer since we know more about each other and we're able to trust each other better, and then that'll transfer onto the field once we get back out there.
What's it like being home with your family this time of year? Because that's not something that's happened in a while.
Yes, it's definitely weird. I've done a lot of yard work, uh, little laundry, all of that, just little household stuff. But it's been really nice just because, like, at school, like, my parents come watch my games and stuff, but, like, you don't have that quality time. And then my sister, she's also off at college, so I don't really see her much besides like summer and winter breaks. So it has been nice, and we've got to do a lot of family stuff just around the house. We played a lot of board games, puzzles. Um, we're actually, so I've been working out, like staying on my program, and I've had my family work out with me. We call it boot camp. So that's been really fun. We just think of different ways to, we have to be creative because we're stuck in our house. So I don't know. We've been, we've been trying to figure out fun ways to keep ourselves entertained, but it's been really nice.
It's almost like being snowed in, but forever.
Yes, and with no snow, like you can't go out and build a snowman.
Yeah, you can't even enjoy the fun aspects of the snow.
Yeah.
You've also got the added hat of being SAC president and keeping that afloat and trying to maintain some of the initiatives that you guys had for this spring. How's that added a different layer?
So we have had a couple different meetings since we've been all back home and in our own spaces. We had, like, originally, before all this happened, we were going to do Jock and Roll, so the student athlete talent show, and then we also help out with the SBs. So obviously those two things aren't happening anymore. So we've had to get creative on different ways that we're still going to connect with student athletes in the community, and just kind of just kind of check in on people and make sure everyone's doing well. So we actually have a meeting this week, just to kind of continue to talk about what we're trying to do and then also wrap up the year. But we've started a social media thing where the first week, we just kind of wanted to see people's pictures and videos of where they're at, what they're doing, how they're staying busy. And we started a hashtag Gov6feet apart. And then this week we kind of did the same thing, but based on like workouts and staying active, seeing what people are doing. And then I think next week we're going to do pets. So have people post stuff of their pets. So that's exciting. And we've got a pretty good response. Each week I think has gotten better. And I think next week will be really cool too. But we just want to continue to stay engaged with all the student athletes, and not only just on social media, but we've talked a lot about, like, within our SAC, how we can communicate with our teams and just make sure all of our teammates are okay, how they're adapting to the situation, because that's really where it starts. Like, if we don't have a solid base within our teams, then we're not going to be able to impact the community at all, or like just make the overall experience better. So we really just kind of are focused on how our athletes are doing, and then how we can help and stuff like that.
SAC has made such great strides over the last 4 years or so. Do you feel like something like this can really bring a halt to a lot of the positive momentum you guys have enjoyed over the last few years? How do you combat that?
I don't think it's going to really impact us in a negative way. We weren't able to do Jock and Roll or the SBs, so that's a bummer because I know people really look forward to those. But really, SAC has grown and become stronger and more impactful because I think of the people and the leadership that we've had over the past few years, and just people's buy-in and their willingness to kind of engage and make a difference. And so we're still really seeing that within our group message and within on like social media and within the teams. And I think next year they have a really good group of leaders. And honestly, the whole SAC is filled with awesome representatives. And like you said, each year it's just gotten even better. And I've definitely seen that. And so I don't think it's really going to negatively impact. It obviously is a bummer because, like I said, people look forward to those activities that we're going to do. But I still think this is a time that we can like still communicate, obviously, and just brainstorm ideas of maybe what we can do better in the future. based on like what we've done this year and in the past. So I think it's a good time to reflect and just continue to stay connected.
For the classroom aspect of this, how much different is that now for you?
Um, it's not super different because right now I'm only in one class and it was supposed to be online anyways. Um, but I feel like if it was maybe like last semester, like it would be completely different because I was in a lot of like hands-on classes, like audio production and stuff like that with like programming on the computer and like big group projects. So this semester it hasn't really impacted me a whole lot, but I could definitely, if I would put myself in someone else's shoes, like it would definitely be a lot different.
What would you say to somebody going through mental health struggles with this right now? Because I feel like that's a huge part of this that people are really talking about is how do you stay positive? How do you stay upbeat? How do you not let this get you down?
hmm I would definitely say just to stay connected. Like, I know it's super easy to become isolated and just to kind of do your own thing and stay stagnant. But if you're part of a team or a community or you have those people that you can reach out to, like now is the time really to do that because they might be struggling too. So you never know like who you could help and who could help you. And something that I've really kind of focused on and like learned throughout this is really to just appreciate the moment. Like you never know when something could happen, when something could end, like our season ended. And so it's really just given me a different perspective, like to just be in that moment and be grateful for everything that you're going through and everything that you have. Being connected with people, whether it's through Zoom or FaceTime or even just a text message is something that's been really helpful for me. And like I said, just appreciate the moment and live in the moment. And I heard this quote the other day. It said, "Don't waste the wait." Um, I think a lot of times that in these situations where we're just kind of waiting for the next thing to happen, we're waiting for quarantine to be over, like it's easy to just go back into your shell and not want to do anything, just wishing the time away. And so, but I think that if we don't waste the wait, we can really make use of this time. Like I said, appreciate the moment and use the time to work on yourself, work on things maybe you didn't think you ever had time for, and just, like I said, live in the moment.
I feel like that there are going to, in the long run, be positives that wind up coming out of this, even though they're difficult to see right now. There will be some good, there will be some things that come out of it that are silver linings that we may not recognize until way down the road. What do you hope is something like that? What do you hope is something good that's taken away?
Um, I I think like a sense of togetherness, like everyone is going through the exact same thing. Whether something was taken away from them, whether they're struggling with a business, whether they're struggling with their health, like everyone is going through something rough right now. And so I think that a silver lining would be just knowing that really we're all in this together. And so maybe people, once this is all over, there's just more kind of like love in the world. There's more like a sense of gratitude, a sense of appreciation, like not taking anything for granted and know that someone else is going through the same thing you're going through.
Is there any, are there, sorry, poor grammar, are there any other thoughts, best practices, good habits, anything you'd like to share that may be helpful to somebody else?
Um, I would just say like uh, every day do something that like gets you moving, um, like in a physical aspect. Like I know that like even just taking a walk around the neighborhood, like that really just makes me feel better, like physically and mentally. just to kind of get away from just like the seclusion of your home, like still be outside and like stay 6 feet away from people and just use common sense there. But just any way that you can move, just be active in some way. I think that really helps with this whole situation.
Definitely. Even I've been trying to take walks, and I'm not outdoorsy at all. Uh, Emily, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you giving me a few minutes to talk.
Yeah, no problem. This has been fun.